Hello, this is Jiman Trading Community, and before we go to peep value, we said we wanna look at how to lead currency and quotes because it is very important. This is something that was popping out as we were going on about currency pair, as we were learning about what is pips and what is lots. So, and when this system came into banks, because banks deal with money, and money is one currency against the other. That's how it works. So when they were dealing with forex, now they had to deal with different currencies, and different currencies, they have different quotes, and different quotes, we have a different way of leading them. Now we have quotes, we have bid and ask, something like that. But in this topic, we are going to dive deeper and we'll understand more about how to lead them. So we said before going to peep value, let's learn about currency so we can go with knowledge. First, currency is money, as we know, and now its strength, they must be two or a pair, in short. So these currencies must be two or a pair so that we can see their differences and the strength between them. Secondly, currency pair are represented in three letters like GBP versus US dollar. So between this pair, we have presentation of three letters. We have GBP and we have USD. Now in the three letters, two are for its country and the last is for the name of the money. Example, GBP. GB, it represent Great Britain, and P is pound. Their currency is called pound. So two letters is for the country and the last letter is for the name of that currency. So for US dollar, we have USD, which US mean United States, and D stands for a dollar. So that's how we lead those currencies. In the next few pages, we will see how they represent themselves in the softwares, and we will understand. But from this point, we have seen that currencies must be in pairs, and that's why we have something like GBP USD, and then something else is that pairs are represented in letters, not in the full name of their country and the money, the name of their money. So it is two letters representing the country and the last letter representing the name of that currency. So I mean, do you know now you can read currencies? It's very simple, you have learned that. But wait, and these currencies have codes, I mean prices. Let us know in a currency pair what is bought and what is sold. So now we are going to know what is bought and what is sold between the pair. So now we know currencies are always quoted in pairs such as GBP USD or USD JPY. So meaning Great Britain pound versus US dollar, or US dollar versus Japanese yen. So GP is Japan and Y is the name of that currency, is yen, the name of the currency of that country. So the reason they are quoted in pairs is because in every foreign exchange transaction, you are simultaneously buying one currency, selling another. Here is the example of the foreign exchange rates of the Great Britain pound versus a US dollar. So let's look here. We have GBP versus USD, which is maybe, for example, it's trading at 1.7500. This would be the quote. Now let's dive deeper into the explanation. So the first listed currency to the left of the slash is known as the base currency. This is Great Britain. So in this example, Great Britain is the base currency. So where the second one on the right is called the counter or quote currency. Example, the US dollar. So base currency and the quote currency. Between the slash. So let's go on. So when buying, the exchange tells you how much you have to pay in unit of the quote currency to buy 1 unit of the base currency. So like here we need 1.7500 to buy one Great Britain pound. So this is US dollar. You need $1.75 to buy 1 unit of Great Britain pound. So the example above, you have to pay 1.75 cents US dollars to buy 1 Great Britain pound. So when selling, the exchange rate tells you how much unit of quotes currency you'd get for selling 1 unit of base currency. In the example above, you will, let's go to the next page. You will receive 1.75 US dollars when you sell 1 Great Britain pound. So you can see the Great Britain pound, the base currency doesn't change. It's the one which is bought and it's the one which is sold. So in the first, the amount of money you would use, you would spend to get 1 base currency, and this one is the amount you would get when you sell 1 base currency. What you would get when you sell one and what you would spend when you buy one from the previous page. So then the base currency is the basis for the buy or sell. If you buy Euro USD, it's simply meaning that you're buying the base currency and simultaneously selling the quote currency. So the base currency doesn't change. It's the one which is bought and the one which is sold. So you would buy the pair if you believe the base currency will appreciate or go up relatively to the quote currency. If you feel like the market would go down, so you'd sell. So you'd sell the pair if you think the base currency would depreciate or go down relatively to the quote currency. So another thing to consider, the bank, when pairing these currencies, the base currency was supposed to be the strongest currency between the two for simplicity. This meaning for quote reading, because let's take something like Euro US dollar versus Kenya shillings. So if it was Kenya shillings as the base currency, it would bring a lot of zeros. But when you put the dollar at the first, it would bring something simple like $1 would cost about 130 shillings, like today we are. So, but if it is Kenya shillings, it would bring a lot of one shilling is 0.000 something dollars, because the dollar is stronger than Kenya shillings. But when you put dollar at the front, it would bring us simpler figures which could be mastered with our mind. So they could look for the strongest currency so that they could pair them. Yeah, so let's go on. So if the weaker currency would start, a lot of zeros would come and become confusing. Well, knowing bank run a lot of orders. So the banks run a lot of orders, and they need the simplicity way of even executing this position. Like we said, they move in lots, so they don't need to put all those numbers of the amount they would like to buy in the market. They need to deal with lots, which we know lots, one lot represents something like something like that. So even if it is currency pairing, they pair the strongest against the weakest, so that the weakest could counter the strongest for simplicity of leading those quotes. So wow, my friend, what don't you know about the currency now? Why currency moves in pair? You have learned that, letters of currencies and how to read them, We have learned that very simply, quotes and base currencies. We have learned that currency rates in the amount you need to pay to get one base, and still the same amount you would get when you sell one base. I mean, base is final, simply like that. Base currency is everything. So I want us to go to pip value now, because I know now anytime or outside here, you know it. Now let's go, because now, my friend, you have learned about this quoting, how to read them, how simple they are. So if you are talking about a quote, you are talking about the next currency from the first currency. The first currency is the base currency, the second one is the quote currency, and the base currency doesn't move, it stays at 1 point. And let's go to the next page. So here you could see now we have something like the buy and sell. This is the in between, this is the where we get the spreads. So if this is like the ask and the bid. So we will dive deeper on this in the next coming lessons, and you could see this was from the previous lesson which we were learning about pips, and we could see percentage in points, and we would see in a currency pair like Euro USD, which has 4 decimal places, the last number is the pip. The last number is the pip on maybe a pair like this. Now we have learned about pairs. So when we go to MetaTrader 5, this is what we will get. This is how it is displayed. So these are the currency pairs. You could see these are currency pair Australian dollar USD. That's why AU represent Australia, D represent the name of the currency, which is dollar. USD CHF, we have the CH represent the country, F represent the name of the currency, which is franc. So Switzerland franc. So when we are reading a currency with just these letters, we could tell very, very fast what we are talking about. Though these are Australian dollar, US dollar, Switzerland franc. We have Great Britain pound versus US dollar. We have euro versus US dollar. We have US dollar versus Japanese yen. We have US dollar versus Canadian dollar. Very simple. CA represent Canada. D represent the name of the money, which is dollar. We have New Zealand dollar versus US dollar. Very simple. So now these are the quotes, and the quotes are two different because there is something called bid and ask. Bid and ask. So you could see the difference. You could minus, but the system has done it for you. That's why we have something called spread. These are the difference. The difference between this price and this one is this. So the spreads, this is what we look, and we look it better when we go to broker, because these are given by the brokers. These are given by the brokers as a way. This now is a simplicity of zero spread account. So we have learned about currency reading. Now we are going to pip value. We had to learn how to read these currencies, and now when we go to pip value, we'll have now to combine lots and pips, so that now we can see even the pip value of different currencies. And when we see the pip value of different currencies, we combined with lots, you will see the magic that happens in this industry of CFD trading, and you will see why people prefer CFD over investing. Thank you, and consider subscribing.